The first time a rainbow appears in the scriptures is when Noah and his family left the ark to land on dry land, after seeing a rainbow in the sky, after the end of the great flood. The pledge or covenant that God would never again flood the earth was symbolized by the rainbow God made visible in the sky. What exactly was God's agreement with Noah? This covenant between God and Noah relates to his creation. Events described in the book of Genesis, it show us how God begins and forms agreements with his chosen people, promising to be loving and dependable to them and urging them to do the same for him. From Genesis through Christ's resurrection, God establishes a number of covenants with his people. A covenant goes beyond a pledge. A formal agreement to do, or not do something, is often reached between two or more people. It is the title of a legal document that contains a specific agreement by that name. A covenant in the Church refers to a group's agreement to act in accordance with the Gospel's teachings. Similar to a legal contract, a covenant creates the connection between two parties. Noah was saved from the flood because of his righteousness. He built the ark in accordance with God's detailed instructions. On Mount Ararat, God brought back Noah and his company. After the flood, a rainbow in the sky served as a seal on God's promise. I do set my bow in the cloud, and it shall be for a token of a covenant between me and the earth. And it shall come to pass, when I bring a cloud over the earth, that the bow shall be seen in the cloud, and the bow shall be in the cloud, and I will look upon it, that I may remember the everlasting covenant between God and every living creature of all flesh that is upon the earth. Geologists have discovered proof and hypothesized that the biblical flood recorded in Genesis actually took place. As the continents formed and people began to live on land, scientists have not found evidence of a further large-scale flood. Instead, two historical events recounted in the Old Bible are floods in reverse. God caused the river to separate in order to help his Hebrew people construct the Promised Land. Most notably, God miraculously split the Red Sea when the Jews fled from the Egyptian armies. Israelis successfully crossed the sea, while Egyptian soldiers perished when the sea waters turned back. On the other side of the Red Water, the Israelites cheered, with Moses' sister Miriam, playing the tambourine and singing a song of joy. God was faithful in helping the Israelis survive their deep water troubles. Another instance of a reverse flood occurred when God split the Jordan River to allow the Israelites to cross into the promised land of Canaan, after 40 years of wandering in the desert. God extended the provisions of his covenant with his chosen people. Bodies of water parted to let them proceed safely on their journey. When Isaiah predicted, "When you pass through the waters, I will be with you, and through the rivers, they shall not overwhelm you," he was speaking for God. In Isaiah 54 verses 8 and 10, God expressly refers to his promise to Noah, to refrain from destroying the earth by flood in the future. The early Hebrew people attached sacred significance to the rainbow's arc of colors, especially the transition from red to purple to blue. God instructed Moses to utilize the colors of blue, purple, and scarlet in the curtains for his tabernacle, which served as a portable temple for the Israelites on the way to the Promised Land. God prescribed the colors blue, purple, and scarlet for the clothing of Moses' brother Aaron and the other first high priests. In an effort to improve connections between God and people, these hues were used to decorate the Ark of the Covenant, and were worn by priests. Ezekiel 1 verse 28. As the rainbow appears that is in the cloud on the day of rain, so is the appearance of his brightness all around. This verse describes the brightness of the vision the prophet Ezekiel had of God's splendor. One of the pinnacle of God's incredible creation is a rainbow. It shines in either a gloomy, rainy sky or a sky where the sun is just about to come out. We are reminded of God's faithfulness during stormy times by rainbows. In the prophetic book of Revelation at the end of the New Testament, John describes the splendor and majesty of God seated on his throne. After these things I looked, and behold, a door opened in heaven, and a rainbow was surrounding the throne. The second time a rainbow is mentioned in the book of Revelation is when John speaks of a powerful angel. Then I saw another strong angel coming down out of heaven, clothed with a cloud, and with a rainbow on his head. A rainbow is a significant representation of God's presence and might, from Genesis to Revelation. Both then and now, the splendor of a rainbow is breathtaking. After a storm, seeing a rainbow is a symbol for faith and for the enduring gifts of God's compassion and mercy, just as it was for Noah. A rainbow is often used to symbolize variety and life in all of its aspects. To encourage a diversity of life on earth, God made sure Noah put 2 of each species on the ark. Given this, it's possible that God overlooked the diversity of humanity after the flood, along with all of its flaws. God is receptive to our variety of physical, spiritual, and intellectual abilities as well as our variety of experiences that draw us to Him. The rainbow is still used as a representation of God's grace and love. The rainbow represents hope and faith in God, just like the one that surrounds the throne in Revelation 4 verse 3. It represents the beautiful and great opportunity God continually gives us to start over, after a storm. God says, "Never again will I destroy the world. But I cannot promise that you will never destroy the world, because I have given you free will. All I can do is teach you how not to destroy the world." The covenant of Noah has 3 dimensions. First, he who sheds the blood of man, by man shall his blood be shed, for in the image of God, he created man. The first element is the sanctity of human life. The second, in Genesis 9, God says that the covenant of Noah is not merely with humanity, but with all life on earth. So the second element is the integrity of the created world. The third lies in the symbol of the covenant, the rainbow, in which the white light of God is refracted into all the colors of the spectrum. The miracle at the heart of monotheism is that unity up there creates diversity down here. These 3 dimensions define the covenant of fate. The tabernacle Moses built in the wilderness featured numerous colors of the rainbow, including red, purple, scarlet, and crimson. They were also a component of the temple that was later built, and they appeared in the high priest's and other priests' clothes as different shades of atonement. The colors purple and scarlet can mean or represent iniquity or sinfulness. Purple itself was used as a symbol of royalty. Scarlet by itself can represent prosperity. The color blue is like the appearance of a sapphire stone, can be a symbol of deity or royalty. Blue was also the color that God commanded that some threads in the fringes of Israelite garments be colored in order to remind them of the commandments and living a godly way of life. The color white found in a rainbow can mean holiness, righteousness, and dedication to serving the true God. In vision, Jesus first appears to the Apostle John with hair that is white, Revelation 1 verses 12 to 14. "And I turned to see the voice that spake with me. And being turned, I saw 7 golden candlesticks, and in the midst of the 7 candlesticks one like unto the Son of Man, clothed with a garment down to the foot, and girt about the paps with a golden girdle. His head and his hairs were white like wool, as white as snow, and his eyes were as a flame of fire." In delaying judgment, God has provided the opportunity for the gospel to be proclaimed to every tribe and nation. An opportunity for every man, woman, boy, and girl to recognize their Creator. The rainbow reminds us how our Heavenly Father is prepared to restrain His anger against sin and deal with it through His Son Jesus Christ. God not only delayed His judgment, but provided a way of salvation for us. So the rainbow is not merely a symbol. It's not simply part of an ancient story. It is a living example of God's faithfulness. It is an assurance that God has not forgotten us, and that He continues to work in this world.